which I forgot to give the URLs. It's twitch.tv/the Geek Down. If you didn't check out our social media, that's where you can actually see us. Okay, so, dude, Johnny,
Yo.
you've been crazy
Oh yeah.
about Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
And I don't know what compelled me, what possessed me to actually get
You didn't bring this with you today?
for this mess.
No, I didn't bring it with me.
No, we'd like to actually be focused on the show instead of playing while we're
Playing.
podcasting. But no, okay, so give us the lowdown on the Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yeah. So, Zelda, Nintendo announced, a month ahead of time or a couple weeks ahead of time, they're coming out with DLC. It's basically just one set of DLC. You can't buy it compartmentalized. So you can't buy one piece versus another piece. So it's one big chunk, but they split it into two different pieces. So this is the first half of that DLC, and the second half comes out at the end of the year. This half comes with a bunch of extra sort of pieces of armor and outfits that you can wear. Some of them have fairly big changes to their own set of like little gameplay mechanic changes. One of which is like this mask that you can wear that can help you find these little Koroks that are speckled about the world, which is super, super useful. But the main stars of the show for this DLC is the hard mode, which is the Master Trials or Master Mode. I think it's called Master Mode. And
The Master Mold?
The Master Mode, and the other bit, which is the one that most people tried out, because I'm going to say this, Master Mode is no joke. It's hard. And I played through just about all of the game in Master Mode. So not only did I beat the game, when this DLC came out, it caused me, I wasn't expecting this, but I ended up beating the game again, almost beating it again.
With a raging boner. Yes,
on this hard mode, which is Master Mode. And they do some interesting
mode.
things that forces you to play differently.
To Master Mold.
They do some very key changes. The big one is that enemies regenerate health. Not only are enemies harder in the Master Mode, but they regenerate health. Because they regenerate health, the cheesy tactics you could do when you first play through Breath of the Wild, you can no longer do. You can no longer sit by and just volley a bunch of arrows into the enemy and be okay with it. Eventually, they're going to, if you don't hit them after a certain period of time, they will eventually start regenning their health. So you have to be very active on going at them. They also change up some of the enemy positions, and they add in like these floating platforms that have treasure, so it gives you incentive, but it's really hard to reach, and there's hard enemies on those floating platforms. So, bunch of cool changes. The other part,
hardcore modes aren't really anything new. Like this is, well, first of all, how much time did you spend mastering your mode?
Oh, I probably dumped like 30 hours or more.
Okay, so it's legit. It's not just like a quick 5
You get
hour,
a paycheck at the end of that.
Well, you're basically playing the whole game again, but in a different way because of these changes.
And it was still fun, even though you're doing the same stuff.
Well, when you're playing one of the best games of all time,
Here it comes.
Potentially.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun if you're playing it again with no changes
That's
at all.
what makes it.
That's what makes
the greatest
it
game.
one of the greatest. Yeah.
Of all time.
The other part of the DLC, which is more available for everyone, is you go through these sets of trials, and it's like there's this one part of the game where they take away all your gear and all your weapons.
Oh, what the hell?
They strip you down to just your boxers, and they have you sort of survive on this island, this little tropical island.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to salvage whatever food you can, fight the enemies that are on there, take their weapons, and sort of build up in order to solve that. They basically took that mechanic and put it into this big, elaborate combat/puzzle-based set of trials. And you go through these trials with nothing, and you have to sort of work with what they are giving you.
BS is this?
You have to work with what they give you, weapons, and you have to be very concise with your use of resources because you have very limited ways to heal yourself, and you have very limited weapons to sort of use as you're going through it. So it's really hard, and playing it on Master Mode is ridiculous. I haven't beat it yet because Master Mode is that hard. But as you go through, it's really good. It's definitely worth the first half. If it were if you divide the price of the DLC, $20 for the whole thing. If this was just $10, it would be worth it for that $10 just from what's in there. But it's not going to be like some of the best DLC I've ever played in a game, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. The next half, hasn't come out yet, and that will potentially be really good. Don't know yet.
All right. Then I mean,
It could suck.
I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt on this one because I know how much you've been salivating over this game since day one. I will say though that from what it sounds, from the sound of it, this master mode is equivalent to hardcore mode and some other games. And my only experience with it has been in games, Fallout games specifically, but RPG style games.
New Vegas, yeah.
Oh, I hate there. Okay,
I
there's a
loved
DLC there where it's the
Oh, that.
there's a
that DLC
DLC
sucked.
where there's one where you're taken to this other land and they remove all the hard earned upgrades, weapons, armor, health bonuses, buffs, anything that you've earned throughout God knows how much time in this game, and then start you back at square one with absolutely nothing. And
See,
I've paid my dues, you know. Let me enjoy. Let me at least use the stuff I've acquired to survive.
Okay. So it's not like it's more easy to jump in, right?
Mhm.
And if you die, you're bumped out of the trials, and you have to start all over again. So it's easy to go in, go out, and you can go. They do have checkpoints in there, but you have to reach the checkpoint. Once you hit the checkpoint, boom, you're done with that chunk of levels, and then you can proceed to the next set of chunk. And that each chunk is the challenge. But the part of losing your belongings, what you aren't losing is you aren't losing progress like how many hearts you have. So you're not losing that. You're not losing your sort of rune power-ups. You take that with you. But when it comes to gear, armor, and sort of resources like food and whatnot, you do lose that. But you're gaining it as you go. And that is part of the challenge. And I know Fallout did it in their way, but the way they did it in the Zelda game, it's fun. It's really, really fun. It was fun during that little island, Eventide Island, and it's even more fun through these trials.
Okay, so I'll take your word for it. So I'm guessing thumbs up.
Oh yeah, thumbs up.
All right.
You mean for the greatest game of all time?
Yeah, the greatest game of all time.
Potentially.
Potentially.
All right. Just trying to give it the thumbs up is the Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC available now. Part 1 available now.
Yep.
Waiting for Zelda Breath of the Intoxicated.
Zelda Breathalyzer. All right. If you have anything to say about that, check us out on twitch.tv/thegeekdown. Dude, I want to see someone debate you on. All right. So I'm going to kick it over to Black Adam Willis or Okja.
Okja.
I finally said it right?
I'm sure.
All right. Lay it on.